What is going down, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zeri from the XMG, and we are going to be talking about the newest human in the game, Garrett. And really excited to make this. This is going to be awesome. I really like this character. Before we jump into that, sorry you were seeing this on Tuesday, not Monday. Life caught up with me, got real busy, and I apologize for that. But if you're just finding me for the first time, you're liking what you're seeing, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all of the good things that go along with that. And I have the last tier, the epic artifacts coming out. Going to tweak that a little bit. I'm incorporating artifacts into the Noob series, which we'll see. So without further ado, let's jump into Garrett, the human hunter. Let's go. So if you have not seen Garrett, here he is. He is a order human fighter and a ranger. He brings a lot of good things to the table, which we're going to talk about, as we go over stats and things like that. But if you have not seen Garrett, this is what he looks like. Let's jump into the stat breakdown and start talking about what we like from his stats and what we don't. All right, so breaking down his stats, Garrett has 140 speed to start, 24th in the game, so that puts him just above middle of the pack. There are 63 champions in this game, so that puts him just above middle of the pack. And for a damage dealer, 140 to start is not bad. Health, 21,933, 23rd in the game, so again, just above middle of the pack. Shield, 24,543, 30th in the game, so he's right middle of the tier there. Health and shield combination, 46,476, 25th. So again, not too bad. Health and shield combination, pretty good. Almost 50k. Damage. He is a physical damage dealer, so we don't have to worry about magic damage. 2631, 35th, just below middle of the road, so his damage for a damage dealer is kind of on the low side. Physical armor, 36.23, 10th in the game. Magic armor, 31.86, 32nd in the game. So physical armor is really good, magic armor, low end. We see that a lot with these damage dealers. It's usually one's really good, one's not really good. They're never both kind of middle of the road, so that's to be expected. Finally, critical chance, 27.85, 14th in the game, so that is phenomenal. Potency, 46, 7th overall in the game. Tenacity, 27, 41st in the game. So, yeah, potency exceptional, critical chance very good. So what we're seeing out of Garrett is health and shield combination is middle of the road. So survivability, okay. It's not anything you got to spend time to figure out runes on. Physical damage is kind of on the low end, so that's something we want to keep in mind. But we got to read his kit, see if that plays into his kit. Critical chance is very good, 28.25%, really good. Speed is okay. We see if that plays into his kit at all. Then, you're looking at the physical armor is exceptional, magic armor kind of bad. Potency is unbelievable at 46, and we're going to see again if that plays into his move kit. So we're gonna go into that right now, go over his moves, see what that plays into his kit, and we're gonna go from there. So his first ability here is Surprise Arrow. Deals 300% physical damage to an enemy, applies the effect of a pulled arrow, and we're going to get into pulled arrow, but 300% on a single target damage is not bad. Now remember, his physical damage is still a little low, but overall not too bad. Second ability, Dangerous Volley, deals 300% of physical damage to all enemies, applies the effect of the pulled arrow. So again, we're seeing that pulled arrow, and we're seeing physical damage. Now what I forgot to mention in the first move is when it applies the effect of the pulled arrow, that is a potency tenacity check. So potency is going to be big, and he already has 46%, so that is awesome. Flare removes all effects of invisibility from the enemies, blinds all enemies for 1 turn. Garrett and allies receive an accuracy increase for 2 turns. Garrett and Eric's Shieldbreaker receive critical damage increase, crit chance increase for 2 turns. So his crit chance is already pretty good. So he's getting that. He's getting the crit damage increase. And Eric Shieldbreaker is there. So we're seeing synergy there. Then the accuracy increase, whatever. But the removes all effects of invisibility, that is humongous. That is a counter to demons for sure. But it's a potency tenacity check. Blind, again, potency tenacity check. So we're seeing potency play into his kit as well as physical damage and stuff like that. So now here comes the mouthful, the Royal Armory. Now what the Royal Armory is at the end of the turn, Garrett pulls out a random arrow from his quiver. Possible arrows include sharp arrow, which inflicts bleeding, fire arrow, which inflicts burning, poison, which inflicts, obviously, poison, daze arrow inflicts daze, ice inflicts slow, and those effects last 2 turns. Then he's going to have an anti-mage arrow, and what this does is it removes all buffs. If Eric Shieldbreaker is on the battlefield, Garrett and Eric both gain an additional 10% health and 10 flat speed. Huge. Eric Shieldbreaker, I think speed is like 127. Wow, that is big. Garrett is going to, you put Eric with him, you're at 150 to start. That's way more respectable. 10% health, so you're looking at right around another 2,300 health put onto Garrett if paired with Eric Shieldbreaker. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to break down his move kit a little bit more after we look at it here when I kind of get to my thoughts on the character. And we'll go from there. But all in all, this is just an exceptional ability. And that anti-mage arrow is amazing. So looking at his move kit, we saw a couple different things. We saw, physical damage pop up quite a bit. We saw potency tenacity pop up quite a bit. The checks there. And he's giving himself speed. He's giving himself health. He's already pretty survivable. He's giving himself critical chance increase, a critical damage increase, as well as Eric Shieldbreaker. So there are some things you want to consider with this character based off his move kit when we go over runes, and we're going to do that now. We're going to talk about his runes and what I think is the best option for him. And I've played this character quite a bit, and what I suggest I'll get to, but there's some ways you can do this. You could put damage with potency. You could put speed with potency. You could put speed with critical chance. You could put critical chance, critical damage. There's a multitude of options with Garrett. And my suggestion, the best way I found him to run is a critical chance, critical damage set. By far and away, his critical chance is already good. When he crits, he can do some massive damage. And I'm able, with 3 dot blue runes, to get him over 200 speed without having Eric Shieldbreaker in the party. So putting on the critical chance and critical damage runes for Garrett is very, very good in my opinion. When I did the damage with the potency or damage critical chance, he crit quite a bit and his regular attacks did well, but putting that extra crit damage on him is just really, really good. And I'm going to rune him. We're going to go over that, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are, critical chance, critical damage rune set. And there's some couple options you want in here, and what you're really looking for in the secondary stats for Garrett is you are looking for speed, potency, critical chance, damage, and survivability after that. Those are the big things you see for me, and usually I have that graphic up there, but I just couldn't get it to work right, so I didn't like it, so I scrapped it. And yeah, so speed, damage, crit chance, potency, and then anything survivability after that. And there's some couple options here you can put with him depending on how you want the character to play out, and we'll kind of go over those. So obviously up at the top we have damage. I went with health, shield, damage, and speed. Okay, we don't have a different choice but damage. Here I went speed. I still believe you could put damage. If you're just going a straight damage build with him, you could put damage, but strongly recommend speed here because he still will be very slow and you won't go very often with him, so the damage is kind of a moot point. But I went with shield, damage, health, and critical chance. Next one down is armor. We only have armor to choose from. Potency, armor, speed, hit 3 times on this rune for 10, so that's a plus, and damage. Then here, critical chance. You could put damage here to up his physical damage. You could put a crit damage, or you could put critical chance. And I would prefer to have a crit damage one here, but it came down to secondary stats for me. What are the better secondary stats? And I have 9 speed, 1.23% potency, some damage, and some armor. Those are the best stats I got, secondary stats based on that. So an extra 7% crit chance is not bad at all. Then I went with health over the shield because you're already giving yourself 10% maximum health paired with Eric's shield breaker, so I went with health. Okay, then we have crit chance, shield, damage, and then speed. And in this rune here, you could put potency. I went with the damage because we don't have damage anywhere. And you'll see it in the stats. He's already starting with 46 potency. And I prefer the 3.4% damage. Now, if you put potency here because the stats, secondary stats are better, by all means. But that's the way I went. I have damage, armor, potency, speed, and crit chance. So what did it do to his stats overall? What we got for his stats is we brought up his physical damage 306. So he broke that 3,000 physical damage barrier. Very happy with that. And I wouldn't have done that without that south or northwestern rune. I would not have done that without that. So to me, that's where I wanted it to be. That was kind of a goal of mine. But you can go potency there if you want to, by all means. Critical chance, 47.67%, 19.42%. We brought up his crit damage to 180 because of the crit damage set. That's where that southern rune of crit damage would be awesome. But again, I went for the secondary stats. I want him to go fast. I want him to go often. Health, we brought up 1564 to 24687. And his shield, we brought up 930 to 25473. So we are over that 50k health and shield combination threshold. So very happy about that. Physical armor, we brought up 2.74%. And magic armor, we brought up 3.4%. So sitting well there as well. Speed, 63 to 203, and then with Eric's shield breaker, he is going to be putting on that extra 10 speed, so we got to keep that in mind. Potency, I got 3.8% up to 40%. If I put that potency on there, I'm probably going to be breaking close to 50%. And for the amount of debuffs and stuff he can do or dispel, it might be worth it. But I kind of want him to be that damage dealer as well. And this is kind of the build I found to be the best. And people can build them in different ways. You could put a potency set in there instead of the critical chance and bring that down. No problem with that. It's all on how you want to build. This is one of the most versatile characters rune-wise that makes sense. And you're not really hurting a different area because secondary stats are pretty good. So he brings a lot of versatility to that aspect. So overall, ruining this character is how you want the character to be built. Do you want him to be the dispeller? Do you want him to be the debuffer? If you do, focus on potency. You want him to come in and lay the wood, be your damage dealer, go damage. Go critical chance, crit damage. You want him to be kind of like the passive, like support role, kind of still deal some good damage, but still can dispel. You might want to go potency damage set or speed damage set or speed potency, I'm sorry. But there's so many different ways to build this character that's part of the fun in this character for me. He's so well designed. There really isn't one stat. When you look at it, you're like, oh man, I got to fix that. His physical damage is low, but as you can see, I got him over the 3,000 mark off secondary stats and one primary stat. So there's so many ways to build this character. It's really how you want him to fit, and that is so cool to me. Because usually when I'm doing runes breakdown, it is just, oh yeah, you want potency because this potency sucks. You want this because this sucks. And that's not the case at all with him. It's so cool to see. Anyways, moving on. All right, so I've been asked to kind of talk about artifacts in Noob series, which is probably a good idea. Garrett does not have one specifically made for him. So this is where, we got to try to get creative with him. And what you can do here is we can try to make up some of that potency deficiency. We could make up some damage deficiency. So when I'm looking at this, what I'm really trying to do is I am trying to find something that goes into his move kit about how I built him. I want him to be that damage dealer who can dispel sometimes. So I'm kind of looking at potency, crit damage, crit chance, damage, and then survivability, right? So a couple of the ones I want to go over, and I'm going to pick a common and uncommon, a rare, and an epic. Of if I had these maxed out, this is what I would put on that character. And what I would put on that character is the one made for Cruel when it comes to the commons. The reason for that is I would put the Mirror of Mist on there. Alright? Increases crit damage, which is how I have him built. I'm getting extra armor, which is a deficiency of his. And then I'm dealing damage. Has a 2% chance to remove a random buff on the target once per turn. I have him going quick. He's going to be attacking quite often. He has an AoE. So if I had a common one, I'm putting it on him. It makes sense. There's no limit to it. And he's going to be a damage dealer for me. So Mirror of the Mist is my recommendation for common. For uncommon, I'm going Lucky Clover. It has potency and lifesteal. It's made for General Murdoch, but damaging only one enemy has a 10% chance to increase critical chance by 2.5% 3 times per battle. Now he does have his AoE, but he also has his basic. So you're going to be attacking quite often with his basic, because when we talk about how his move kit and how I feel about it when we get there, that's kind of how that'll make more sense. But you're going to be using his basic quite a bit, attacking one enemy, increasing his critical chance, which I have played into, which is I kind of have lower in this build I have for him. That is the one I would put on there. Having lifesteal would be great because he does have his AoE. Giving him an extra 6% potency would be huge. So I recommend the Lucky Clover for the way I have him built. Now the next one I have up is one that I put as an average, I think. But I think it would really work well for Garrett. And that is the Caustic Broth. It's Venomates, damage 120 flat stat, but shield by 6%. Applying a debuff increases potency by 1%. Can happen 3 times max. He's going to be putting on a lot of debuffs. Get that extra potency while you can. Increasing damage, which is a lower stat. I just broke the 3,000 barrier mark, and giving him shield for survivability. I think that would be really, really good. Now there is one other one I'd like to talk about that might help you here, and that could be the Curse Doll from Mor'Doom. Damage by 4%, shield by 6%. At the start of the turn, increase your damage by 1% twice per battle. So if you want to go the damage and the shield, there you go. You're getting the percent damage. So either one of those I would say would be really good in the rare category of artifacts for Garrett. And one of the ones I like quite a bit on the epic side is the Paladin's Lamp. Potency by 9%, which is where I kind of need it to be. Armor's 300, so gives him some more survivability. But each attack on a hero's turn restores 1.5% of the shield per target, but no more than 4.5%. That one is really good for Garrett because he's going to be going quite a bit, getting that shield back up. People are going to try to take him down. So that is one. I do have another one that I think also could be extremely good in the epic category, and that is the Medal of the Loner, Major Shot, Potency 9, Lifesteal 9. Applying damage, every damage dealt has a 3% chance to apply ability block for 1 turn. 15 times per battle. 3% clip, you're probably not getting that 15 times per battle, but you have his AoE built in, you're going to be going quite a bit. I think that would be really good. You're increasing your potency, you have your lifesteal. Those are just kind of some of my recommendations off the bat. And, you know, there's another good one out there, Snorri, Dragon Seeker. He heals himself off critical hits, so that wouldn't be bad. I mean, there's a lot more in the epic that could fit in, but those two just kind of stuck out and kind of did what I wanted them to do in this build. So yeah, there are some artifact recommendations. So when it comes to Garrett, we've talked about his move kit, we've talked about his artifacts. I love this character. Is he bringing humans back to the meta? No, he isn't. Could he be plug and played with any team in this game? I think he could. I really do. His dispelling of invisibility counters that of demons if they have Kyra on there. He can dispel the whole team. He's a pretty hefty damage dealer that's pretty tanky. He could be a 5th for a lot of teams. He does not need Eric Shieldbreaker on the team. It's only a plus if he's there. So it's not one of those built-in things like Soleus and Nighttail. If you don't have Nighttail, Soleus is still really good, but he's not that good. The passive benefits Eric Shieldbreaker more than it benefits Garrett, in my opinion. But, I mean, an extra 10 speed, who wouldn't want it? But I'm just saying, Eric Shieldbreaker isn't a necessity to pair with Garrett. And the one thing, he makes you think when you play him, because you don't know what ability you're going to get from your arrow pouch. You got to watch his head above his head. And in the battles you will see, you know, how this works. You'll see this little thing come up, and I'll click on it so I can show you what's coming up next. And when it comes down to his second ability, his AoE, you always don't want to do that as soon as it comes off cooldown, because you want to save that for like the Daze arrow or the magic arrow. So the anti-mage arrow or whatever it's called, because if you only have your basic up and you shoot your anti-mage arrow, you're only going to dispel that one person. You have your AoE up and that pops, you're dispelling everybody if you pass that potency tenacity check. That's pretty monstrous. That's huge, actually. So you have to think when you play him. His AI does not play him very well because it's programmed to do this move, and this move. They're not thinking about what's ahead. So defensively, he might not hold. He is an offensive monster. I am critting consistently for 18k, 13k. So he is an offensive monster. I really like this character, and I really, really think the sky's the limit for him. He is very well designed. His stats really don't have that glaring flaw like you see a lot. Buff, no potency. You know, Eric Shieldbreaker, speed sucks. Like, I love the versatility you can have with his rune sets. I love the versatility you could have with the artifacts. It's all on how you want to build this character. Like I was saying earlier, you want him to be the damage dealer, have him be the damage dealer. You want him to be a dispeller, have him be the dispeller. You want him to kind of be both, have him be both. You just want him to go fast and you not care about damage, or if he's dispelling, you just want him to go as fast as you possibly can. Put him in speed. You can do so much with this guy. And he's going to be a really, really good plug and play character. I really like the design, and it was really, really well thought out. So there's my thoughts on his move kit. Think when you use him, he can do so many good things. So everybody, there is my Garrett for noobs. And again, kind of longer one. Sorry I didn't have as many of those quick cards as I normally do, but I just couldn't get it to work right because it's hard to explain what you want from this character because it's how you want him to be built. Now, I did the gearing video for Garrett, and I gotta say, people don't understand that the gearing video, and hopefully this will set it straight, is people are thinking it was the Noob series. I put out a gearing video for every character. All it's going to be is about 5 to 6 minutes long of me placing gear on people. That has been a requested video by some viewers that they just want to see what kind of gear goes into each person and at what levels, and it's easier than going to be a dragon champion.info. So I can put that out there. That's fine. But I don't put a lot of production into it. It's my title screen, and, music gearing, and that's it. That's all it's meant to be. With that being said, his gear is awful. He is an awful gear. He is extremely hard to get to gear 11. You don't need a lot of shackles, but you need a lot of everything else. And he's not going to be an easy gear to 11, but he is going to be worth every single penny in my mind. I really, really like this character. Really excited. I will be buying the Battle Pass when it comes out. So there's Garrett for noobs. Let me all know what you think about this guy. Am I way off? Am I overshooting? If not, let me know. And let me know how you feel about the new artifacts. So once again, if you're just finding me for the first time, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all that good stuff that goes along with it. For all my XMG family members out there, you know I love you. See you on the next one. Have fun with Garrett. I'm out.